The modern financial system is a shared arena. We operate within the same economy and navigate the same market volatility, yet this identical environment produces drastically different lives. Ronald Read spent his career as a janitor and gas station attendant. He lived a quiet, unassuming life, but at the time of his death, he had quietly amassed an $8 million fortune. During that same decade, Richard Viscone was a Harvard-educated executive at Merrill Lynch. Despite his pedigree and high-ranking career, he ended up in personal bankruptcy. We often assume wealth scales with intelligence or salary. However, these two men demonstrate that those variables are often secondary to how a person handles their own psychology. Behavior is the ultimate pivot point. A janitor who masters his impulses can outperform an executive who lacks the discipline to manage his ego. If building wealth followed a rigid mathematical formula, the Harvard executive would win every time. His failure suggests that our standard understanding of money is missing a crucial human element. Education treats money as a hard science. We look at spreadsheets and optimize choices based on interest rates and percentages. In reality, these clean numbers are constantly distorted. Our decisions are warped by ego, fear, and the economic cycle we're born into. This explains why two people can look at the same investment data and reach opposite conclusions. Both can be acting rationally, based on their own unique life experiences and trauma. Viewing money as a math problem leads us to misjudge the people around us. To understand finance, we have to view it as a psychological narrative instead. Most people struggle with the concept of enough. This lack of a financial ceiling creates a visibility illusion, where the desire to show off wealth actually ends up destroying it. Rajat Gupta is a prime example. He was worth over $100 million and sat on the board of Goldman Sachs, yet he risked his career and his freedom for insider trading because he was obsessed with reaching the next tier of wealth. This behavior is linked to the man in the car paradox. When we see a luxury vehicle, we don't admire the driver. We simply project ourselves into that seat and imagine that others are finally noticing us. This highlights a literal drain on your capital. Buying a depreciating asset to signal status doesn't just lower your bank balance. It liquidates the very wealth that would have otherwise compounded and protected your future. Real wealth is what you don't see. It's the invisible buffer of the car you didn't buy and the luxury items you chose to ignore in favor of long-term security. If wealth isn't found in flashy spending, how has it actually grown? It turns out that building a fortune has less to do with taking massive risks and more to do with surviving long enough to let time do the work. Warren Buffett is the ultimate example of this endurance. His secret isn't a complex algorithm. It is the fact that he has been a consistent investor for over 8 decades. This chart illustrates the power of his timeline. More than 99% of his current net worth was only accumulated after his 50th birthday. Compounding is deceptive because the early years look incredibly boring. If Buffett had retired at 60 like most people, his wealth would be a tiny fraction of what it is today. Time is more important than specialized skill. There is a tension between getting wealthy and staying wealthy. Earning money requires optimism and risk-taking, but keeping it requires a healthy sense of paranoia and the humility to realize it could all disappear. This is why a reasonable plan you can emotionally stick with is superior to a mathematically perfect plan. The perfect strategy is worthless if you panic and sell everything during a market downturn. The market doesn't necessarily reward the smartest person. It rewards the survivor who avoids catastrophic mistakes long enough for compounding to reach its vertical phase. If true wealth is invisible and we aren't supposed to use it for status symbols, we have to ask, what is the actual point of accumulating it? It leads to the idea of saving for nothing. This means building a pool of unallocated savings that aren't designated for a house or a car or any specific purchase. The highest dividend money can pay is total control over your own time. Having the ability to wake up and decide exactly what you want to do is worth more than any luxury item. This flexibility acts as a buffer. It allows you to wait for a better opportunity, walk away from a toxic job, or say no to a bad deal without the pressure of financial desperation. In a world where everyone is forced to react to every market dip or corporate layoff, having the capital to remain still is a rare form of leverage. You can ignore the noise because you are no longer playing a game of immediate survival. Mastering the psychology of money means checking your ego and saving relentlessly to buy back your time. When you step out of the way and let patience do the work, building wealth becomes inevitable.